Hey, what's good, YouTube fam and wrestling fans all alike? Welcome back to another edition of the DaVon Lewis Show podcast, where we keep everything all nitty gritty, everything so saucy in the land of professional wrestling with a decent wrestling podcast. Thank you guys for making the time out to making this your go-to spot for wrestling weekly breakdowns, hot takes, and everything in between. I'm your host DaVon with a review for this week's edition episode from Monday Night Raw from May 12th, 2025. We just concluded live from the KFC Yum Center in Louisville, Kentucky. Let's go ahead and get into this review. Appreciate you guys coming through. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Monday Night Raw for the Red brand is officially underway as we kicked it off very hot tonight as we had CM Punk making his way out, had a full-on discussion and talk when it came to everything that had took place with tonight. He talked about the path that him and Paul Heyman have been on, including this is not the first go around when it came to Paul Heyman turning his back on him since 2013 was the first time it happened. But he thought that they officially grown up, learned from their mistakes, and pretty much became in a different direction. Now they were best friends, but now former best friends. The situation broke down very quickly with Paul Heyman interrupting the situation. Of course, it seemed like he was coming out by himself, but very flanked when it came to Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker making their way out. When it came to everything that took place, then a whole lot broke down from there with a back and forth, a whole lot of talking, including Seth Rollins calling Punk a selfish prick and a whole lot more. But things broke down quickly, whereas he was outnumbered, and they put the beat down directly on him. Dennis came with Sami Zayn coming out to make the save, and a whole lot had took place from there after the whole situation had broke down. But I had liked how afterwards everything was on plate as they would continue to be outnumbered. Braun Breaker took care of business. Then Jey Uso came out as well, and the Seth Rollins coalition had lost the numbers game when it came to the advantage, and they pretty much end up leaving the ring after the faces pretty much handled business, took care of business. And I had liked that actual segment. The segment was really good, and I liked how everything broke down. But who is the third man from your own point of view? I'd like to know from you guys' point of view how you guys are feeling about this whole entire situation that broke down when it came to all three men of Jey Uso, CM Punk, and Sami Zayn. Is Sami Zayn going to turn on him? I know people really had their bets put on it when Sami Zayn came back after Jey Uso won the World Heavyweight Championship, that he thought he was going to turn on him in that moment spot, but everybody got it wrong. But the situation continues to be pending with the new Seth Rollins coalition. I look forward to seeing how these things break down. Who will be the third man that will align himself with Seth Rollins? My pick maybe might be surprising to a lot of people, but I'm thinking either Drew McIntyre. I think that would be the perfect person that may fit with that whole entire group when it comes to everything that may be breaking down. I know Bronson Reed is not due to come back yet. He won't be back until Survivor Series time due to his broken, both his ankles pretty much shattered, and he's going to be out for a good little moment. But in the overall, I had enjoyed the whole entire presentation. It was good stuff, and I had enjoyed how things broke down with that opening segment. Then we get to a recap package of El Grande Americano costing Penta the WWE Intercontinental Championship at Backlash this following Saturday. This leading up to a match to be Penta versus Chad Gable, which was slated to be next as scheduled. Then, of course, we end up having things break it down, including the recap of what broke down with Pat McAfee not being there at that moment, as Michael Cole had explained that Pat McAfee was there due to the situation, but he was handling things solo when it came to everything that had broke down. Then we got away right to our first match. We had Penta defeating Chad Gable with the Mexican Destroyer for the pickup win. It was a great match from start to finish. Great transitions. I had enjoyed the presentation of how things are flowing with the match. It was great stuff, and I look forward to seeing the continuation of the storyline, including with Chad Gable being a El Grande Americano. But the situation continued to heat up in a big way. Penta most likely will be realigned back with Ray Phoenix during the draft, and I look forward to seeing the tag team division being shaken up with the Lucha Brothers. But for this time being, when it comes to Chad Gable and Penta, I'm all for it, and I look forward to seeing this drama continue to pick up over the next coming weeks leading up towards SummerSlam. Then we have the Judgment Day. They're currently in the clubhouse hanging out as Finn Balor is talking to JD McDonough while Carlito tries to convince Raquel Rodriguez that they should hang out a little bit more. Even offered him to go out with her, but she graciously said he will let her pay. Of course, she chuckled it off and brushed it off. Dominic Mysterio was there as well as he walked into the frame and was on the phone with Liv Morgan. He tells everybody her movie is going quite well when it comes to her actual presentation and it's going great. But then, of course, a little bit of confusion as things continue to break down over the time zone. But other than that, they still was able to be on the same page. Finn Balor was hesitant about helping him at Backlash, but a whole lot really had broke down after everything. The tensions continue to be built up between Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. I'm loving the whole entire paranoia, including the situation that's happened since Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest left to become singles champions, and you can feel it as Finn Balor is having that moment, and he might be all out when it comes to the whole situation with the Judgment Day. But he, of course, he promises to take care of AJ Styles, and he had to leave to get ready for his match. And the rest of the group began explaining to Mysterio how time zones work when it comes to being on different parts of the world. Then we get to a recap of Pat McAfee versus Gunther. They replay it again, going over the whole thing. And of course, Pat McAfee makes entrance out to talk about the whole entire situation, saying he is still bruised after the match and he has a blood vessel in his eye that's injured. And of course, he's even more driven, but he has the most respect now for Gunther than he ever has after they had a brutal match. I mean, that match was really good. I enjoyed how they actually meshed together. It was great chemistry between the both of them. And you couldn't ask for anything better when it came to Gunther and Pat McAfee. And I had enjoyed it. It was a good match this following Saturday for Backlash. Then it was officially announced for CM Punk will team with Sami Zayn to go against Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker as Saturday night's main event. Punk and Zayn are briefly shown in the locker room as they're talking about the actual match. Punk then goes on to says he's having a hard time trusting people right now. And Zayn says because he understands that because what Punk had been through and he has trust issues just like CM Punk. But of course, back to when Survivor Series happened, they worked well as a team and they both agree and they won't be able to accomplish anything as an individual until Seth Rollins' coalition is completely out their way and out their hairs. And so we got to see how they work together. I think it will be kind of interesting to see how CM Punk and Sami Zayn tag together. They officially have not tagged together. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how their two styles mix together, including Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. Those two can actually surprise me too to see what they could put together, what great tag team transition moves they could put together, either with a spear leading up to a stomp, or even CM Punk coming off with a haluva kick leading into the GTS. Just got to tune in and see what will happen with Saturday night's main event. I look forward to seeing it. Then we get right away to the tag team action of the night. Appreciate you guys still hanging on when it comes to everything that's been going on with the review. As we have American-made Julius Creed and Brutus Creed defeating the likes of the War Raiders, Eric and Ivar. Thanks to the assistance of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, who was on commentary through the majority of the match and got involved, leading to the Creed brothers picking up the victory via victory with a distraction thanks to them. But the tag team division continues to heat up and it's looking good with everything that continues to be promising. I'm loving the way how the New Day continue to be their prick heels and getting involved in everybody's mess. But the problem is, are they going to have a setup with so many challenges? The Creed brothers are getting the victory. War Raiders are trying to find their niche again to get back on the same page and get the momentum going back in order. Judgment Day is looking to get in the run for the tag team championship. Otis and Akira Tozawa, maybe after they deal with what's going on with Miro, they would probably be looking to jump ship back into the tag team division, but we gotta hang tight for that and see what Papa H puts together when it comes to those boys. But in the overall, I'm feeling how the tag team division for the Red brand is shaping up. The SmackDown brand is on a different level. They hold near high regards to how they're handling everything. And I'm loving the way how it's flowing smoothly on the Blue brand. But even though it's the B show, the tag team division is doing great on the SmackDown. On the Red brand, it's kind of like a pending progress, but we're seeing some good stuff when it comes to how things are happening when it comes to the actual Red brand. Then we go to Seth Rollins with the Coalition, and he's talking to Baron Breaker backstage, and he whispers to him about CM Punk and Sami Zayn. Probably thinking they have them on the ropes, but they are one step ahead. And Rollins also tells him he needs him to handle some business at the end of the night, and he told him to go have fun, and he laughs it off after everything officially breaks down. Then we get Pat McAfee and Michael Cole make an official announcement for next week. We're going to have a singles match of Sheamus versus Grayson Waller for next week during the commercial break. Kathy Kelly interviews A-Town Down Under about this international exclusive clip, and Waller tries to say that he got what Austin Theory had with a rematch with Sheamus for next week, but Theory is one step ahead, and he said he spoke with Adam Pearce and made it that sure that Grayson Waller got in the fight so he can get ready for Sheamus. I'm pretty sure Austin Theory is laughing his butt off and probably happy as how he can possibly be to get back directly at Grayson Waller, who kind of did the same thing, but now it's eye for eye, and they're going back and forth, being true buddies, but setting each other up, doing different things. I know they keep teasing this breakup, but right now at this moment, they need to keep them together because the tag team division needs to heat up a little bit more. A-Town Down Under still continue to be a great kind of tag team that I truly enjoy on the Red brand. But we just gotta stay tuned. I know everybody's waiting for that rocket to be strapped to Austin Theory so he can become the man of the next generation right behind Cody Rhodes when it comes to being the face of WWE. But I think that time has come and gone since Vince McMahon is no longer officially a part of WWE, and that was his go-to boy. But we don't know who Triple H may be going with the next man. But I know right now he's currently sticking with Cody Rhodes. But we have a lot of talent that have returned. Miro. We also have Aleister Black, but we got to see what Triple H feels most invested with when it comes to the main roster, as well as who he may want to call up from NXT during the draft next couple of weeks. Then, of course, Jey Uso comes out to address the crowd on everything that has been going on, including with Logan Paul in their World Heavyweight Championship match at WWE Saturday Night's main event. Jey Uso ends up cutting a promo, and we can go ahead and break it down to everything he pretty much said. That boy had some words, and he had a whole lot to say, but he was quickly interrupted by Gunther, who announced that he would be the winner of whoever wins between the Logan Paul and Jey Uso World Heavyweight Championship of the episode of Monday Night Raw after WWE Money in the Bank on June 9th, which you know he's going to get cashed in on from Phoenix. He says he hopes he ends up facing him and reminds him of his place. But of course, Jey Uso says he knows his place and he will walk out of Phoenix as the World Heavyweight Champion. And he stands on that and he means business in the biggest way possible. And everything he pretty much said was on point, and you couldn't miss anything that Jey Uso had to say. And of course, when it comes to everything, when it comes to that man, he had 4 letters. One word, And you know what it is. When he feels yeet, you know it's gonna be go time. Because he ain't playing around and he knows what he feel when it comes to each situation. And you know you gotta be involved and enjoy how Jey Uso continues to be with everything on Monday Night Raw and keep us invested. But more importantly, I'm loving this run right now, but we just gotta see how it turns out. I know a lot of people are disappointed, but you just gotta hang tight. It's barely into 1 month of Jey Uso's run, but it should be good, and I look forward to seeing it. But of course, Gunther versus Jey Uso is gonna be a sleeper. I'm not sure. Maybe it may be one of those good little moments, and we may end up getting a holy shit moment. You never know. But we just gotta hang tight and see how things are breaking down. But when it comes to my boy Jey Uso, He's a trooper at best, and we know that he's gonna hold his own. And you gotta keep rocking with the man. The man's on fire right now. He's the world heavyweight champion. And if you're loving him, you always go. You feel me on that? But then we go ahead and get into a tribute for Sabu, which was great on WWE's end part. They show a little bit of highlights of his career all the way from New Japan days, WWE, ECW, the whole 9 yards. Sabu was one of those guys and pioneers of the division of the square circle that really done a lot for so many people. I could talk days about Sabu, not even on a hardcore level, just as a genuine way of how he is, of putting a smile on people's faces inside and outside the ring. He communicated well. He was a great mentor to a lot of people, even carrying Cross, Taz. So many superstars came out and had their speak and talk about Sabu. And you know, Sabu is somebody that's highly regarded in the industry of the internet wrestling community as well. And my hat's off to him. Now he gets to fly high into the square circle of heaven with all the greats. But I agree with Sami Zayn, who had an actual tweet this following week that he was trying to get him into the Hall of Fame while he was in Vegas, because he does live in Vegas. And so it's going to be intriguing to see what they do next year for Sabu. Maybe give him an honorary Hall of Fame, but it should be due time. But if there's any talent that you truly love and enjoy, I mean, over the past, give them their flowers when they are alive. When they're alive, show love to them, tweet out to them, check on them, make sure they're doing good. Even if they go on hard times, even if it's medical, health issues, whatever it be, just check on those superstars you saw that was larger than life and you really care for. Really be there for that talent and really show love to them. Then we come back and we get things underway when it comes to announcement that the War Raiders will be facing American Made versus New Day in a triple threat match for the World Tag Team Championship. The War Raiders were in Adam Pearce's office complaining about how they lost the match earlier in the night thanks to the New Day. So the general manager came up with a solution, being all over the place. He made a decision and he made it final. The Creed brothers, as well as the War Raiders and the New Day, will have a match for the Tag Team Championship. And you know it's going to be good. I look forward to seeing how things turn out. I wonder how the New Day are going to feel about it, as they're going to be pissed off. They're not intrigued. They don't want this announcement. They don't even want to. They feel like the wall, everything is against them. But we got to tune in and see how things break down. But then we can to the backstage as Jackie Redmond was trying to interview Louise Kaiser, but we panned very quickly to Braun Breaker taking out main event Jey Uso. Of course, the staff and everybody in security try to get involved and try to break up the situation. It's heating up good with this Seth Rollins coalition. But the biggest thing is, who's that third man? A third man's got to be a beast, just like Braun Breaker. And I look forward to seeing how things break down. Then we get to singles action. AJ Styles defeated Finn Balor in singles action after Penta made an appearance to even the odds for AJ Styles to take out the Judgment Day members of JD McDonough and Carlito. But it was a sweet match. It was great transitions. It was a whole lot of back and forth, and I had enjoyed this match. This match was good, and in best regards, they put on a clinic. AJ and Finn Balor put on a clinic. They have great chemistry. They did their thing, and they put on a really, really great match, and I had enjoyed that AJ versus Finn Balor. I don't mind them putting us on a showcase any day of the week. We got to revisit it again. And I guess Penta's sticking with that Mexican Destroyer as his actual finisher. You got to give your flowers to P. Williams now that his finisher is now becoming legit again and being used for being a solid one and done. Once he hits it, you're out and you're done with it. Then we get to Becky Lynch, the man. You gotta love the man. We gotta give her props out to the man, as she always do her thing, and she always keep us highly invested when it comes to everything that she continue to do. But other than that, she addressed losing to Lyra Valkyria, includes talking about attacking her after the match and at Backlash. But she says she walked away from WWE for almost a year because the fans asked her to. She says she's heard the comments about when she won the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, all the different accolades from last year. She said a friend asked her why she's missing wrestling while she's away. She admitted that she 100% did miss the ring, but she said she had to get a mental grip on life, including dealing with the audience. Now, whatever anyone says about her, she will lean into it, and the rest of the women's division will find out what the man truly is about, and she's going to be held down by her words and be on top of it. Speaking of words, we got the big man Rusev with a vignette, of course, demigod style, talking about how he hurt Otis and they were a lesser individual when it comes to him, including her. He's going to end up hurting Akira Tozawa in the near future, and no one will be able to save him from falling into the abyss. But of course, it's going to be interesting and intriguing to see that Akira Tozawa versus Miro match. I'm gonna give big props to Akira Tozawa for holding his own. Got himself in great shape. I mean, have you seen how physique he looked? 6 pack, the whole 9 yards, chisel out of stone. He looking like Luigi Kaiser right there with the big 6 pack out there. But he wants that match with Rusev. It's gonna be tough when it comes to him. But hopefully he doesn't get sidelined and get hurt. But Adam Pearce did consider this actual match and see that if he's cleared to compete, they will make it happen. But of course, Sheamus comes out to encourage Tozawa and says he will give Rusev what he can and go from there. So that means Sheamus may be stepping up and go against Rusev. So that means it may be the next feud. But I look forward to seeing what may happen. But of course, he has to prepare for Grayson Waller first when it comes to next week's edition of Monday Night Raw. And I look forward to seeing it. I'm intrigued. I want to see how far everything rolls with everything. And it should be good, 100%. Then we get to tag team action, the main event of the night. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley defeated Roxanne Perez and Julia as Rhea Ripley was able to get that victory off with the Riptide on Julia. This match was great, even all the way down to the new additions of the Red Brand putting the beat down on the ladies. It had a whole lot of disregard, a whole lot of back and forth. Great transitions, great entertainment to close out the show. The women always do a great job. More importantly, we see the teaser being lined up there. Rhea Ripley wants that Women's World Championship back, and Io seen it when she raised her hands. And we saw how things actually broke down when it came to the ending. But thank you guys for coming through for this edition for the Monday Night Raw review. And overall, it was a solid, good show. And overall, I'm thinking this week's edition, out of score of 10, I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10. Some good action, a few storylines moving forward. But in overall, it was a solid, good show for the Red Brand from Monday Night Raw. Post your comments down below. Hit that like button if you enjoy these reviews on a weekly basis. Don't forget to subscribe for more wrestling content every single week, or any of my other content, including news, stories, all the different things we have going on directly for this channel. I appreciate you guys coming through and showing your little support for this channel. Until the next episode, we are officially on the road to 4,000 subscribers. Let's keep pushing on. Don't forget to click this next video that may be available. Until then, you guys be safe. Have a great night. Peace.